She did it again. How good can the youngster become? We'll know more tonight in a battle of the little big men. And good evening to you. Seasonal greetings from here at the York Hall in Bethnal Green. In these parts, you don't have to be big in stature to be a big name in boxing terms. And one of the local heroes around here is a man who dominated the world flyweight division in the late 70s. His name is Charlie Magri. Magri is gone from the rings of the modern era, but in this ring at the York Hall tonight, an absolute classic in British terms. The British champion Francis Ampofo, the Commonwealth champion Darren Fifield. One man is going to have 2 titles for a Christmas present, and the other fellow will have to start all over again. Lots to look forward to. I'm delighted to say that Duke McKenzie, the former 3-time world champion, is our guest here in the studio tonight. We've got an awful lot of live boxing for you coming up, but first a quick word with our 2 headline performers.
He hasn't fought the sort of opponents I fought. He reckons he's had a hard fight, but I mean, I've had a lot of hard fights. I fought people like Baby Jake. I mean, Jake is pound for pound is one of the best flyweights in the world. Very, very good flyweights, and I've been in there with him.
Hopefully, on my behalf, it's going to be, you know, a bit of a tactical fight. Francis is very strong. I don't particularly want to be drawn into a sort of a battle, but you know, I think that's what the public are expecting. You know, we just have to wait and see.
2 fighters certainly who give value for money every time they go through the ropes. Duke, is this a much more competitive division now than when you were fighting at flyweight, which is not that long ago, actually?
Yeah, probably, Paul. There's, you know, a lot of good flyweights out there. Darren's one of them and Francis is another one, so good fight.
Now, we think that this is going to be a big value for money fight. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, definitely. He's, like, Francis is a little pocket battleship and Darren's a good tactical boxer, as you know, so good clash of styles.
Are you surprised it's come together so easily with 2 titles on the line here?
A little, but not really, because, you know, flyweights go through real quick. You know, don't ask me why. I mean, over the world in general, there are very few, but, you know, in Britain it's like quite a good division at the moment.
I won't ask you at this stage who your money is on, but Fifield has come through the ranks pretty quickly, even by flyweight standards, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of like flown through, but, I mean, the ring tonight is a very big ring, and that will suit him. Right. Because Francis will look to, like, try and cut it off and try and back him up. That's what he's known for. But I hope that the Fifields camp haven't underestimated Ampofo's boxing ability, because he's a good boxer, as well as being quite a reasonable puncher.
Thank you, Duke. Here's a brief outline of what we have in store for you. Our headline event tonight. A little bit of boxing history at flyweight. The first time since Walter McGowan fought Jackie Brown back in '63. A 2-title fight in Britain. Francis Ampofo, British champion. Darren Fifield, Commonwealth champion. That's the headline event. Heading up the undercard, some quality as well. And perhaps Britain's finest prospect at super middleweight. Another local boy to these parts, Mark Delaney of West Ham against Martin Jolley, and making first steps, or almost first steps, tentative professional steps at heavyweight, Michael Holden and Pat Pasley. Pasley was a most accomplished amateur. Ringside team tonight, as usual, it's Glenn McCrory and Ian Dark, and we'll hear from the 2 of them in just a moment or 2 after we've had a word with our master of ceremonies tonight, Alan Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the York Hall, Bethnal Green, in the heart of London's East End, for a pre-Christmas evening of British and Commonwealth Championship Boxing, live on Sky Sports, promoted by Mary Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, and sponsored by Mortal Kombat 2. All your officials tonight are appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your steward in charge, John Clifford, and your area representative is Ron Jacobson. Ladies and gentlemen, for this contest, will you welcome into the ring from Alfreton, Martin Jolley.
Comes Martin Jolley into the ring. He is a late substitute here because Peter Vosper from Plymouth, who was jetted down to fight Mark Delaney tonight, has pulled out. Now, I have to be honest with you here, Jolley's prospects do not look that good. He's just lost to Delaney in 3 rounds as recently as November the 7th, and he was on the floor 3 times in that contest. It would be an absolute sensation if he was to beat Delaney, who's an interesting, hot prospect who's rampaging through the lower reaches of the super middleweight division at the moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you now welcome into the ring, undefeated, from West Ham in London, Mark Delaney.
professional contest so far, and the expectation is that if he continues at his current rate of progress, he could well be fighting for a title in about a year's time from now. He's a good pressure fighter with some power in both hands. Matchroom Camp are hyping him up, as they're perfectly entitled to do. He goes by the nickname of Del Boy, but as far as I know, he has no connection at all with David Jason. Good young talent, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a super middleweight contest, a 12 stone, 2 pound, over 6 3-minute rounds. Introducing in the red corner with those black shorts, 10 wins and 1 draw from 24 contests, 4 inside the distance from Alfreton, Delaney and Jolley. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the opponent in the blue corner with those green shorts, with a brilliant undefeated record, 12 wins from 12 contests, 11 inside the distance from West Ham in London, Delaney. And the weighing earlier today, Jolley scale 12 stone 2, Delaney 12 stone 1 3/4 pounds. Your referee for the contest, Richie Davis. Your timekeeper, Danny Peacock. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, this is not a step up in class for Mark Delaney. He's being asked to repeat a victory that he scored last month, but soon they will be stepping up in class, and he's an interesting fellow to have a look at. Remember, this is in the super middleweight division, which has bags of class and money-making potential at the moment, with the likes of Eubank, Benn, Close, Wharton, and Piper, should he return to that division. Around Piper, who fought at light heavyweight, of course, against Leonza Barber for a world title. Now, there is Del Boy himself, Mark Delaney. He's 20. Jolley, who's 27. And I think he would go in here with some trepidation, wouldn't he, Jolley, having been decked 3 times by Delaney a month ago?
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he's going to be very, very careful. Well, actually, this can at times be a hard fight for a fight like Delaney, who have already proved themselves by beating a man like Jolley. It can often be hard to raise themselves for a fight like that, especially when the original opponents dropped out. At times, you know, they've done the job once before and they think, well, what have I got to prove? And they just don't quite get up for the fight. So that can be the one danger for Mark Delaney.
In other words, motivation might be a problem for him.
Yes, it can often be fighting the same fighter twice, especially when you've done a good job on him the first time.
It's what's known in the trade as a marking time fight. Right hand gets through already from Delaney. Jolley, who's from Alfreton, up in the East Midlands. He's with the Mike Shinfield stable.
That was a good right hand from Delaney, although, you know, watching him just in the first minute of the first round, he's not looking particularly sharp.
His older brother Gary is Commonwealth light heavyweight champion, so they're making a few headlines for themselves, these Delaney brothers, doing just about what he likes at the moment in there, Mark Delaney.
Yes, that was better. He put his shots together nice there, left right to the head and a left hook to the body.
Of his 12 wins, 11 have come inside the distance. Only Mark Dawson has taken him to a points decision. That was only over 6 rounds, and that was back in September. But he hasn't really fought anybody of much consequence yet. Not really timing the right hand there.
As you said, this is pretty much a marking time fight, and he's got to win, and he's got to win in good style. But I think it's ready. The time's ready for Mark Delaney to step up in class and look for bigger things, certainly in next year.
I'm sure that's part of the plan for him. He's only been a professional for 14 months so far. Just not got his timing together as yet, Delaney. end of the first round. Delaney on top without looking overly convincing. Welcome back live to the York Hall in Bethnal Green, which is pretty much full. We've got an excellent British flyweight title fight coming up for you later on. Francis Ampofo defending the title. We're just watching the undercard here with Mark Delaney on top in the first round in his rematch with Martin Jolley from Alfreton in Derbyshire. Second round, Delaney in the green trunks.
That was a nice steady opening round for Delaney. He didn't do anything too special, but he threw a nice couple of left right and left hooks to the body just to show his style. I think his corner will be looking for him just to pick the pace up a little bit this round and do something a little bit more.
Incidentally, sitting at ringside next to Barry Hearn is the former British heavyweight title contender, Just Harding. His company is actually sponsoring Mark Delaney's career.
Jolley just getting off with a couple of shots of his own there, right hand and a left jab scoring.
Pull him down.
Jolley just trying to push Delaney back against the ropes. He's getting a little bit of confidence.
Delaney hasn't yet just switched into full gear. Trying to work his openings. Good stiff left jab from him. He spars with world champions Eamon Loughran and Steve Collins in the Matchroom camp. Right hand, clubbing right hand, looked a good shot from Delaney.
Right clean, right leg.
There's another of those right hands, which looks a danger punch, and Jolley there looking to cover up.
Right! Right leg, do as you're told.
But it's noticeable Delaney is not as sharp as he usually is, which is often a problem when you fight people for the second time. Especially when you've had a good win against them the first time, your performance, it's very hard to pick your performance up, and I think Delaney is just struggling a bit to do that.
Yes, he just looks a bit one-paced, doesn't he, and not quite getting his timing right as well, Delaney.
That's right, he just looks as if he's having to think a little bit too long about getting his shots off.
Jolley letting punches go, but only into the gloves of Delaney, who scores himself. He's on top and looks very commanding, Delaney, but not really taking the eye. But perhaps it's not a night to form too many conclusions. Freddie King in the corner with son Jason. There is his record confirmed for you. Unblemished so far, and 11 knockouts or stoppages out of 12. You can't argue with that.
You certainly can't. I think again there was some decent work there. At times a little bit one-paced, but some good work nonetheless. You start to get a little bit closer in, and there was that clubbing right hand that we saw towards the end of the round. They show his strength there, and Jolley did well to take that. That was a good shot.
It was a good punch from Delaney. As we were saying, motivation could be a problem for him tonight. Jolley has lost his last 8 contests. 13 defeats in all against 10 wins and 1 draw. Just imagine his reaction, can't you, when the phone rang at home and they said, look, we've got a fight for you. Who are we fighting? Mark Delaney again, the guy who stopped you in 3 rounds last month. Not his exactly what he wanted to hear, but it's money, isn't it? He's a professional.
Well, it is, and also you have these fighters of a lot of pride. You're getting beat up a fight, and they think, well, here's my chance again. I've got a second chance. They see the mistakes that they did last time, and they think, well, if I didn't do that, if I didn't do this, then maybe I can do better in this fight. So obviously he's took it for that reason. He thinks he can do better.
Oh, left hand really cracked home from Delaney. Almost a wry smile from Jolley. That one really did thud home.
Yeah, I think Jolley had a couple of words there just to say, good shot there. He felt that one.
These two beginning to know each other pretty well. Doesn't really look as if he's got out of second gear so far, Delaney. He does pack a bit of a wallop. Sets himself well for the punches when he lets them go.
Yes, they're strong, clubbing sort of shots. Look as if there's a bit of power in them. But at the minute, he's struggling to find his form. He's not getting his shots off, his combinations the way he should. He's just struggling that little bit.
He's a fighter with some pedigree, though, Delaney. He was a national schools champion. He was an Irish champion at light heavyweight. Division ahead of this, and he's got Jolley in some trouble again. He also knocked out an American in an Ireland USA international as an amateur. Punches all right. Good combination. How much more of this will Jolley take? There are several meaty, solid-looking blows thudding into his head now. It's pretty one-sided.
Yes, Delaney's picking up the pace a little bit more. The shots are starting to get a little bit more fierce, and he's starting to switch them around a little bit, going to body and head. Jolley's doing his best to make a fight of it. He's switching around and moving about and trying to fiddle Delaney about as much as he can.
But I don't think he's got the armory there, has he? To beat a man like Delaney. He's down. Third round, is it going to be a carbon copy of last month's result? Up he gets, breathing heavily. There are only seconds left. But it's only a matter of time. Well, Jolley can now say he's done better than he did on November the 7th, but by the skin of his teeth, because he was taking quite a bit of punishment there in that third round there. I would suggest not be an awful lot more of this.
I shouldn't think so. It was a good left hand, very, very stiff. Really, sunk it in low. He was really hurt, Jolley, at the end of that. I don't think, had there been a bit longer left in the round, he wouldn't have went on that much. But he's done better than he did last time. I think here we can see it's a good left hand to the head. This way, just started to pick the pace up.
Now, let's have a look at the knockdown right at the end of the round. Body punch was a good one, wasn't it?
Sunk it in right behind that
really
right elbow. Right behind the right elbow, right up in the solar plexus. Good shot. He got it right round that right elbow.
Really did knock all the wind out of Jolley. Did well to get up from that, really. He was glad there was only a matter of seconds left in the round. Fourth round then. Will Delaney resume his assault and finish the argument in this fourth round? For you at home, a chance to maybe judge whether down the road he might be a decent contender for the likes of a Eubank or Ben or a Ray Close. And more punishment raining in. It's in a pretty bad way here. Referee Richie Davis having a look. How much more does he want to see? No, that was the right time to stop it. No arguments from anybody. Delaney wins again, this time in the fourth round. It was all very predictable, quite honestly. Jolley came in at late notice and was brave, really, beyond the call of duty. Delaney makes it 13 straight wins. That wasn't an unlucky 13th for him, and frankly, it never was going to be either.
He just picked the pace up a level. We see good shots to the body, and I think they were the ones that sapped everything out of Jolley. And a very good right hand there, right on the jaw. And I think the referee, he did well. He knew Jolley had been beat last time out, and he was taking some good shots there. He's a brave boy, but I think it was a good time to stop the fight, and the referee stepped in wisely.
He's a good puncher, Delaney, I must say. He just looked a bit one-paced there, but He does carry a dig, and you can't argue with 13 straight wins, although the big tests are ahead of him, of course.
He does, and he's a good fighter, but just not quite top form Delaney tonight.
There's his brother Gary, Commonwealth light heavyweight champion, also dreaming of big things.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 29 seconds of round 4, the referee Richie Davis has stopped the contest. Delaney and Jolley, no condition to continue. Delaney is the winner.
So Mark Delaney, only 23 years of age, he's bound to improve, and he may be a name we should keep a careful note of.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 13 out of 13 now for the winner, Mark Delaney.
So Delaney goes away through his hometown fans here in this part of London, West Ham boy through and through, and is going to have a pleasant and happy Christmas, his 13th professional win. We'll be having a quick word with Mark Delaney when you come back live tonight, ringside on the road from Bethnal Green.
Darren, if you want to mix it, we mix it. If you want to have war, we will. By the end of the night, I'll be the champion.
Ringside on the road, live tonight from the York Hall, Bethnal Green. Hope very much you're enjoying the show. The build-up to our main event tonight, a flyweight title double-header. The British and Commonwealth crowns up for grabs. The British champion Francis Ampofo, the Commonwealth champion Darren Fifield. The main event is not too far away. But already tonight we've seen Mark Delaney, a super middleweight and a hot prospect, still a youngster, developing very fast, and he's added another scalp to his growing reputation tonight. Gary Norman can have a quick word with him now.
Well, Mark, that's the unlucky one out of the way. That's 13 out of 13.
Yep, pleased with it. I fought him before, Martin Jolley, and I stopped him before, but he gave me a few problems before, and he's done the same again tonight. Like, he's an awkward customer. Like, he's been about. Plus, he's just, since I beat him, he's come off he's had a couple of good wins, and so he's up for the fight. He was up for it.
You didn't seem to be getting your combinations off too well. Were you not entirely happy with your performance?
I went as sharp as what I could have been, but like no disrespect to him. Like he was an awkward customer, and I don't know. It's good. It's a good learning fight. Good learning fight it was.
By your own admission, you'll admit there's a bit to go yet, but the Delaney brothers have definitely arrived, haven't they?
Yeah, they're going to be a big thing, the Delaney brothers. Got a long way to go. Still a lot to learn. I believe Freddie King training me, I can go a long way.
Freddie, you confident of the future for this fella?
Yeah, very much so. I think he was a little bit overawed tonight in regards he'd already stopped him, and he was trying to motivate himself to do better, and he was afraid that he was going to do worse, I think, and you know, it's a matter of attitude. But yeah, he settled down all right, and he put his combination together well towards the end, and he was just too good for his opponent in the end anyway.
When do you think you'll start moving him into the title picture?
Well, we've got a little way to go yet. I'd like to bring them along, and once they get to the standard that then we can move them on very fast.
All right, well, the best of luck to you both. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks. That's Mark Delaney with Gary Norman and Freddie King, one of the better trainers, one of the very best trainers in British boxing today. Stuart McKenzie, three-time former world champion, is my guest here in the studio. It may have been the first time you've seen Mark Delaney. What do you think of him?
No, I've seen him once or twice before, Paul. He's a very capable fighter, I think. But he looked to me tonight like he didn't actually get out of second gear. He was just, content with just going through the motions.
One fighter to another, do you have sympathy for the difficulties of trying to raise yourself against a standing opponent at the last minute?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that's obviously why he was just sort of plodding, but he was just sort of going through the motions. But when he had to do it, he did it.
Tags him cleanly in round 3 here, Duke. Talk me through this.
Yeah, just a good overhand right, and he's digging him to the body. That was a good shot. But like I say, when he had to do it, he did it. And again, there goes that overhand, and the shot goes right behind the elbow, and they're the ones that really hurt.
Well, Martin Jolley just about survived past that third round stage this time at their meeting, but in the fourth round the writing was on the wall, and Mark Delaney wasn't going to let him off the hook. What did you think of the finish?
No, it was an excellent finish. Like I say, Delaney's obviously full of confidence and just piling it on, and the other guy's ready to quit now.
Does he look to you to be a big puncher at this weight division?
Only time will tell. It depends on when he steps up in class, how effective he'll be, against like genuine British title contenders.
Now, age is obviously on his side. He's only 23 years of age, but the criticism one would have of the record, Duke, is that he doesn't seem to have fought too many ranked opponents so far. What would you say to that?
I think for any up-and-coming fighters, you need so many fights where you get, it's like a confidence-building thing. You have to fight and get your confidence right up before you can fight a genuine, bona fide British title challenger.
Here's the finish once more.
He's just sort of piling all his punches. You know, once they start going, they just go, which is good. Everything's going in now, and Delaney's just obviously on top of his game. But the other guys, you can see he's been hit and hurt, and he's ready to quit.
You know, if he's going to develop on his potential, the great thing, Duke, would appear to be that a lot of the super middleweights in British title class and above, because we obviously have some of the best fighters in the world in this division, but they're all in their late 20s, touching 30. Now, Mark's coming along at a good time, isn't he?
He's got time to develop. I'm not so sure he'll even stay in the super middleweight division. It looks to me like he'll probably go into a light heavyweight even. I don't know if he's actually big enough for that, but he's still only a baby in boxing. So,
and lots of development to come.